hell out of that. A common theme here is reaching a human to discuss a potential job opportunity. Do you think the entire HR and recruiting process needs to change in the future?
Yes. I mean, I think that it's not an incredibly scalable or efficient model today. I feel like there's startup after startup that's trying to innovate and disrupt in this space, but the reality is I don't actually have a good answer of how I would actually change it. Um, as I said, I'm really focused on my network and how do I go and hire and people coming to me. But I would tell you it's definitely the most stressful part of my job is to figure out how to recruit and hire appropriately.
Well, it's interesting. One of the reasons we end up with HR process and recruiting process, this has happened at Amazon after you left, is fear. Uh, Fear that the legal paperwork won't be right or you'll hire somebody. Startups at some level, while they want to follow the law in general terms, they want to succeed. And that doesn't mean they'll like hire someone with no job documentation, but they're also not like interested in analyzing every possible thing. There is, I know of a case in a company where someone had lied on their resume and got caught and they were fired. And that's a very big company thing. The truth is, at a startup, if someone was kicking ass in their job and it later came out that the MBA they said from Wharton wasn't real, they might have some issues. But I'm just guessing at Adam, if they were killing it, you wouldn't have gated them.
No.
You'd have been like, what the hell?
Yeah, I'd be like, dude, why are you doing this? But I would not, like, if they were productive, I absolutely would not have fired them.
And so, whereas, I have never had to specifically, personally walk someone out for that. But that's the kind of thing that at a larger company, could just be like, nope, you didn't have what you said you had, you're gone. The point here is HR process ends up in place for a lot more reasons because big companies above 50 people, new laws apply.
Yep.
There's all this auditing, blah, blah, blah. It's definitely, you're always better off reaching a live person. I think recruiting comes in because the thought is a specialist can be faster. A specialist can do this more. It's their full-time job. It's their passion. And as a company grows, the founder of a company is motivated to do the hard work of hiring. The 50th person in, probably not as motivated to spend their day doing that. They're like, hey, I'm a coder, I'm a marketer, I'm whatever. But I'm not a recruiter. Why am I having to do this? And that's where recruiting comes from, I think. Any thoughts on that?
I think you're right, and I constantly am fighting with my management team to make sure that they know that it's not recruiting's job to fill the role, it's yours. And there's a natural, like, exactly what you said, that like I have other stuff to do, like let me go do my normal job, and I'm like, your normal job is actually to fill the team as well. And so there's a complex tension there. So I would say, like, that's one of the reasons why I would say it's a challenging question. I don't think there's a great answer to it.
But that goes to that large company, small company question we had near the beginning of the broadcast, which is whatever your profession is, you're a product manager, you're a graphic designer. If you're the sort of person who wants to put effort into other parts of the company, like choosing your teammates, startup fit. Mm-hmm. If you're the sort of person who wants to mostly have someone else do all the paperwork and scheduling for the next candidate, large company fit. Mm-hmm. Because in a startup, being like, yeah, I don't, why would I interview other designers? Like, that's not my job.
Right.
Doesn't fly. Everything is your job. In a larger company, it changes a little bit. So yeah, this is like one, someday we'll do a whole easy coach on how to scale human organizations. And that it's a beast.
It's a beast. That has a lot of dimensions to it. Not only organizationally, how you design the org, but how you motivate people, all sorts of other stuff. So it's interesting. I'll be
And-
in the chat room.
Yeah.
Peanut Gallery. Probably got
Well,
questions.
you know, Amish has experience here he's not talking about in a sense because he probably hasn't called to mind. When we built the Amazon App Store together, he opened our Orange County office. And there was, for different reasons, our HR at that point, because he was opening a new office, was in Las Vegas. And so to staff the office, Amish and I and a couple, we flew interviewers down from San Francisco and we went to a hotel because our office was a dump.
Right.
And we went to a hotel in Newport Beach and interviewed people in conference rooms.
Yep.
But we had to do like all the scheduling. So even you can get some of the startup experience in the right large company experience.
That's right. That's right. I do think that that's, you know, at that time in Amazon's history, we were new to creating these remote offices. So there wasn't a lot of clarity or process around it. So in fact, the candidates that came in for those interviews, I remember I posted a Craigslist puzzle. I posted on Craigslist for a job, and I made a very complicated technical problem that had a very, very simple solution. And so immediately I was getting like thousands of submissions over the course of like a couple of weeks. And I'm like, how am I going to look through this? But the reason why I made the answer be so simple is because I could immediately say, okay, the answer is 5. Just put it in the yes bucket. I'll look at it. If they came up with a longer answer, I just threw it away. And that's how we ended up sourcing like, 50, 60 different candidates that we interviewed at this.
I've never heard that story. I didn't know that part.
So,
Or I've forgotten it.
Yeah, it's it was a scrappy way to just figure out how to get people in the pipeline.
I just remember these really long days where we would sequentially interview like 8 or 9 people at 45 minutes a clip, and then we'd all get in a conference room, and you're trying to remember like who was number 3,
Right.
who was Ronald. So not very flattering again, but hopefully it worked out. So we'll go ahead to the next question.
By the way, that site is now 1,500 people or something like that.
Yeah, multiple buildings.
It's crazy.
Irvine, California. It's got a Twitch office. It's got game studios. It's got Amazon Fresh.
So I think we did a pretty good job. Like I left when it was around 500, and now it's more than doubled in size.
Yeah,
like
big office.
yeah.
We'll go ahead and go to the next question.